Okay, good morning. Lesson 74 today. Wow, we've covered a lot. Okay, percent problems. Remember that when you're finding a percent, so if it asks you what 13% of 11 is, we can do a couple of things. The easiest way is for you in your calculator to go 11 times 13%, and that'll tell you what it is. I'm not sure what it is, so let's look. Oh my goodness. Calculator. 11 times 13%. It's $1. It's $1.43. Okay? That's the easiest way to do it. So have your calculator ready today. Okay, number one, super easy. All you have to do is add and subtract the numbers. Okay, I'll do the first one for you. 90% minus 75% plus 34%. All you have to do is 90 take away 75 is 15, add on 34 is 49%. It's just simple adding and subtracting. Okay? You go answer the next two. Come on back. Okay, number two. What is the sales tax where you live? That's a simple Google. You could just Google sales tax in Ontario, but I will tell you it's 13%. So when you go to the store and buy something for 10 bucks, you don't pay 10 bucks. You pay 10 bucks plus 13%. 13% of 10 bucks would be $1.30, so you'd end up paying $11.30 for something that costs 10 bucks. Okay? Calculate the amount of tax you would pay on each price. So in the first one, it's $20. So on your calculator, you're going to go 20 times 13%, or you can change 13% into a decimal. What would 13% be as a decimal? Decimal 13. Decimal 13, right? Because it's 13 hundredths, and that's 13 hundredths. So 20 times 13%, 2 times 13, so it'd be $2.60 you'd pay in tax on $20. Okay? You go answer the next few. Come back for number 3. Okay, in the school elections, 3/5 of the students voted for Laura. 12% voted for Zamir. The rest voted for Shaham. We'll just Shaham. Okay? What percent voted for Shaham? So, we got a couple of options. We could change this back to a fraction and then get common denominators and figure out what Shahan's fraction was and then change that back to a percent. You could absolutely do that, but it's quite a bit of work. The easier thing would be to change this to a percent. Add those up, find out what's left over for Shaham. So how do I find out what 3/5 is as a percent? A few ways. I've taught you a few things. So we could use our calculator and go 3 divided by 5, 3 divided by 5 equals, or we could make this into a decimal fraction so that we can change it and get it to 100. I can get 5 to 100 easy. So rather than use my calculator, I'm going to go 5 times 20 is 100. So 3 times 20 is 60. So I'd have 60 over 100, which means that Laura got 60%. And this person got 12%. So that puts us at 60 and 12 is 72. The rest is Shaham. So we have to take 100, the whole, and take out the 72% that these two got, and that leaves us with what's left over for Shaham. Okay? You finish it up. Okay, number 4. A painter spent 500 bucks on art supplies. Okay, so we got a chart with, I'm just going to go 3 by 3. Okay, so these are brushes, these are paint, these are canvas, right? This is the fraction, this is the percent, and this is the money, the actual dollar amount. Okay? So they filled in that this is $125. And they also filled in that this is 3/10 and that this is 45%. Okay, I love these. This is like a fun little puzzle for me. Okay, so 3/10, what is it as a percent? Well, you could use your calculator and go 3 divided by 10 times 100, or we could just change this to 100 and find out what it would be out of 100, and that'll be our percent. How do I get from 10 to 100? Times 10. So my top number is times 10, so that would mean it would be 30 out of 100, which is 30%. Now, we could figure out 30% of 500. If we want to know 30% of 500, we use our calculator and say 500, oh, forgot my password. 500 times 30%, or decimal 3, your choice. So that means this is $150. Make sure you get the same answer. Now, I've got 2 answers, so I can add those 2 up and figure out what my missing dollar amount is, because I know total they add to 500. So this is 100, 200, and 75. So if I take 500 and subtract 275, that's a 4, that becomes a 9, that's a 10. 10 and 5, take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 7 is 2. 4 take away 2 is 2. So that means $225 was spent on canvases. Now, 45%, we need to make that into a fraction because we're missing here. Well, 45% means 45 out of 100, right? I would accept that. That would be totally fine, but we could reduce it, right? What could we reduce it to? 45 doesn't go into 100, but 5 goes into 45 and 100, so why don't we try that? 5 goes into 45 9 times, and 5 goes into 100 20 times, and there's no number that goes into 9 and 20. So that is our lowest, even though they didn't ask us, we just did it because that's what we do. Now, what else can we figure out? Well, we do have percents here, so if I add those up, I could take it away from 100 and figure out what's missing there. So 45 and 30 is 75, which means the missing part is 25%. What is 25% as a fraction? I would accept 25 over 100. I would accept, if I took 5 out of each of those, I would get 5/20ths. I would also accept a quarter. As soon as you see 25%, you should be thinking quarter. Okay? There you go. We did it all together. Now, number 5. Student hopes to raise $200 for his favorite charity. He's already raised 60 by having a garage sale. What percent of the 200 does he still need to raise? Okay? So, lots of ways you could do this. But he's already raised $60 out of $200, right? So what percent does he still need to raise? So we need to get to a percent, right? So I know we've never done this before, but could you change 200 to 100? Yeah, you could. If I cut this in half and I cut this in half, I could get it to a percent, right? So 200 cut in half would give me 100, and 60 cut in half would give me 30. So that means that the $60 is 30%. So he has raised 30%. But the question asks us, how much does he still need to raise? If he has raised 30%, which is out of 100, how much is still left? How far from 30 to 100? Okay, you figure it out. Answer the question. Okay, another chart. Woohoo! All right, so 3 things: sweater, boots, BT, and book, BK, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. This is the regular price, the discount, which is a percent, the discount in dollars, and the sale price, okay? This is very useful, something you'll use all the time when you're shopping. Okay, regular price of the sweater is 52 bucks. It has a 10% discount. So we have to figure out how much 10% of $52 is. I'm just going through the motions because I know what it is, but we're going to do it together. So $52 times 10% is $5.20 in dollars, remember. Now, the sale price is 52, the original price, minus $5.20. So I'm going to get that sweater for $46.80. Okay, the books, $38.96, and they're 25% off. Now, it doesn't matter that 10% and 25%, it's the same thing, you're just going to change the number. So $38.96 times 25% is $9.74. Now, you're going to go $38.96, take away the $9.74 to figure out the last number. Okay? Now you do the last one all by yourself. Pause the video. Okay, Simone bought a bass guitar at a 20% discount. She paid $600 for it. How many dollars did she save by buying at the discount? Okay? I found this one challenging, to tell you the truth, and there's lots of ways to figure it out. So if you have another way, awesome, send it to me. So here's what I thought. $600 was 80% because she got it at a 20% discount. So she paid 80% of the price. So 600 is 80%, right? So 600 over 80 equals something, we don't know what, over 100, right? So how can we get to 100? So what I did was divide the 680, I found a common denominator, right? And I found that 40 went into both 680. So I divided them both by 40. So 600 divided by 40 was 15, and 80 divided by 40 was 2. So I have 15 over 2. Now I can get that to 100, right? So I need to get to 100 to find out what 100% was. So times 50 would give me 750. 15 times 50 is 750, which means the original price for the guitar was $750. She paid $600, so the money she saved was $150. Okay? All right, number 8. Steven spent $670 on furniture. He spent on a chair 25%. He spent $234.50 on a table. And the rest of it on a sofa. Okay, so to figure out what the remaining sofa price was, we need to figure out what 25% of $670 is. You've done that a bunch of times. On your calculator, just go 670 times 25%. That will give you your dollar value for the chair. When you know what the chair cost, if you add it to the table and get a total, and then take that away from the 670, it'll tell you what's remaining for the sofa, okay? Because he spent this much and this much on those two, and all together it has to add to 670, okay? So add them up, subtract from 670, that's how much the total was, or the sofa was. Okay, pause the video, go answer the question. Okay, a lake has about 1,200 fish. 12% are sturgeon, which are huge and scary. I don't think they actually bother people, but they look like a dinosaur, so it kind of freaks me out. As part of the conservation program, they added 200 more sturgeon to the lake. Right? How many sturgeon are now in the lake? Okay, so originally there were about 1,200 fish and 12% of them were sturgeon. So if we go 1,200 times 12% on your calculator, 1,200 times 12%, we find out that there were 144 sturgeon originally in the lake. But then they added the 200 fish. So how many fish were there in the lake? Any sturgeon? There were 344 sturgeon in the lake. That's how many are now in the lake. What percent and what fraction of the fish in the lake are sturgeon? Okay, little trick here. Originally there were 1,200 fish, but we added 200. So that means there are actually 1,400 fish in the lake now, right? What percent and what fraction? So the fraction, how many sturgeon did we end up with? 344. And that now there are out of 1,400 fish in the lake, right? But we could probably do better and reduce that. Why not? Again, it doesn't ask for it in lowest terms, so I would accept that answer. But let's just see what we could get it down to. So 344, I'm sure, doesn't go into 1,400. I don't see how it could. So let's try by cutting it in half. So half of 300 is 150, and half of 44 is 20. 150 and 22 is 172 out of 700, because half of 1,400 is 700. And then we can go lower, because they're both even numbers again. So let's try it again. 172, half of 100 would be 50, half of 72 would be 36. So 50 and 36 would be 86. So 86 over half of 700 is 350. And look, it's even again, so let's try it again. Half of 86 would be 43. Oh, I think we're getting down now, because 43 doesn't go into much. And half of 350 would be 150. So there's our lowest term. 43 out of 150 are sturgeon, okay? Now, what is it as a percent? Just use your calculator. 344 divided by 1,400 times 100 will give you the percent, okay? That's how you find the percent. Top divided by bottom times 100. Perfect. That's it. That's all for today. Have a good day.